What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. It's Crypto Vision here, back again with another crypto market live stream. We're going to be checking out some crypto, as always, traditional stocks, precious metals. We got some PMI releasing today. There's some news about the Middle East that we're going to be talking about as usual. We're looking into some precious metals. Those are running a little bit. And so, as always, I thank you for stopping by. I thank you for your time. If you're interested in the free Discord, it'll be linked in the description. We check out all things, right? All things are covered. Bearish, bullish, neutrals. Everyone is welcome. I also offer a paid Patreon membership. I've uploaded a couple posts on what the premium members get on a regular basis on the macro charts, deep dive updates, all of that. So if you're interested, you can check everything out before you have to commit. As always, like I said, thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Let's check it out. So we got, what up, Vish? Appreciate you stopping by, brother. So I'm trying to look at the PMI calendar because we should be getting it today. We should be getting PMI today, so that should update this chart right through here. That should update this chart right here. So this is that market that's expanding. Yeah, it hasn't released yet. I don't believe it's released yet. I do want to check out whether or not, there we go, PMI. It should be coming out today. So it did it come out to, no, it said it is released. That's supposed to be at 52.3. So right around forecast. I don't know if, interesting. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's been released yet. I do wanna, oh no, it's not responding. There we go. What up, Absurd? Hope you're having a great day, brother. I am trying to look for the PMI release. I don't see anything in the, I don't see anything yet, but it says it's released. January, February, March. There's no April. Maybe that was released and I'm tripping. Maybe the March that's the release. If you guys know, let me know. I'm not sure on what I'm trying to get the ISM. You know what? I'm gonna ask. I was gonna ask Chatty. Just gonna ask Chatty. ChatGPT. Simple, right? Keep it simple. USA ISM April release. Let's see. So March data, yeah. So okay, so that is it. So it came in at 52.7. That's great. That is great. Okay, so that's it. Expectations 52.5. It's now at 52.7. So expansion, anything above 50. Let's go. Okay, cool. So we got some clarity on this. So the ISM, so this is manufacturing data. So we've gone through and talked about closing above 52, right? Closing above 52. Okay, when you close above 52, okay, close above 52. So we got above, back tested, and now we're closing above 52. Okay, so that's a confirmed close. Okay, so that, now we can look at areas that we highlighted. Okay, confirmed. Okay, I mean the confirmation was way up here, so that's a little bit better, but nonetheless confirmed. Okay, confirmed. This one not confirmed. Okay, that one was not confirmed. Right, that next month you dropped all the way back down. Okay, this one, this was insane. This was probably during 2009. Wow, that's how far back this goes. All right, so once you get above these levels through here, the market tends to do very well. Okay, the market tends to do very well. We've been talking about this for a while now with this 52 level. Staying above 50 is expansion. Above 52 is the actual, it actually looks like expansion is occurring. It's not just, the false hope that it is. So I don't believe we're about to enter a recession. I don't believe so. Okay, especially this 20 EMA is really ramping up, and this is on the monthly chart too. So it's almost like a very large ship steering. It's gonna take some time to steer, and so, but once this gets going up through here, that's extremely bullish. It almost looks something like this, right? Or you like that. It really does. It really does. Just that angle of it. It looks pretty. It looks pretty. It looks pretty good. And you have the exact, setup that I like to see. You got the 50, you got the 1, and you got the 2. So everything can really be crossed, and we can see some crossing of even the 50 above the 100 and 200. So, and this is long. This is a prolonged period of growth. Right, prolonged period. This is months, right? So that's months and months and months. And so, right, coming out of a recession, a technical recession, it takes time. It's like birthing pains. You get some highs, you get some lows, a lot of uncertainty. Typically, coming out of something like this, there's a lot of uncertainty. I've likened it to trimming up the fat of a nice steak, right? You cut off all the excess, and what you have remaining is the prized possession, what you actually are seeking. And so that's kind of what this is indicating to us. We're going to be looking at some other charts today. The HYGIEF, that's high risk to low risk, high credit to low credit bonds. Okay, so when this chart does well, not only crypto does well, but the smaller cap traditional stocks do well. Lower credit stocks are doing well, and that is showing that there's an appetite for risk on assets. So, when this is doing fairly well, that is giving a signal to the Fed that, okay, we can in fact lower rates. We can in fact do the things that will boost the economy without fear of a total collapse. I did release on the Discord. Let me see through here. Trueflation is showing the downtrend again. So it went from 1.77% down to 1.26%. Major drivers are transportation. So used a new car price inflation is decreasing. Okay, food is decreasing. Utilities, natural gases, things like that are decreasing. Housing is decreasing, but it's the least amount that is decreasing. Okay, so it probably doesn't feel like houses are decreasing, but they are. So those things are contributing to the downtrend of inflation. Okay, we're gonna get the official report of inflation here within the next 2 weeks, I believe. I believe it's the second week. I'm just gonna double check. I'm just double checking. I don't like to just talk out of my butt. I like to have some kind of, yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. It's at the end of the month. No, CPI is at April 10th. Yeah, April 10th, April 14th is PPI. Okay, so, and then the next decision for the Fed is April 29th. There is probably not going to be a rate cut. He's leaving. He's done. This is his last month. So the idea that CPI or PPI coming in is probably, if depending on what's going on in the Middle East front. I guess the talks are progressing fairly well in the Middle East. As of the latest, I've uploaded some tweets directly from the White House that they're in talks, that Iran has asked for a ceasefire, as they're still getting, the war efforts are still continuing by the United States, and so I don't know, ground troops have landed, nothing like that's going on. The Strait, I guess, is still not fully open. That's the number one thing is, hey, the Strait needs to be open. And then we can talk about a ceasefire. Okay, so I think the United States right now is leaning on their positioning and what they have done to, have Iran make the first move. Because if they want to be serious about ceasefire, if they want to be serious about peace, I think they need to show that by actions. And I think that's what the current administration is doing. And so, just some more patience. It's not something that I'm going to rush to and say, oh, peace is this, that, and the other. Been in the military, been there, done that. There's a lot of layers. There's a lot of sign-offs. Right? It takes a while actually to go to war, and it takes a while to have um, to have peace, and to it should take a while, right? When we're talking even about the Afghanistan debacle of withdrawing troops, that should have taken a lot longer than what had happened, and so that's what led to the devastating withdrawal of Afghanistan and allowed the Taliban to retake over that region. So typically, getting out of a country exfil is takes a while. Okay, so it's not just people are expecting it to be 1 week done, 2 week done. No, it takes some time, 2, 3, 4 weeks possibly. You got to get you got to get situated. You got to get stationed. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of pieces that are moving. And I'm talking about, there's Air Force, there's Navy, there's Army, there's Marines, there's, so you got to coordinate with all different branches and things like that. So in terms of that, that's kind of the macro what's going on. We're going to be looking at, we're going to obviously look at XLM. We're going to be checking out Bitcoin. I kind of wanted to start with Bitcoin, and I know Banano's here. So in terms of what, he mentioned something about, possibly the extremely oversold conditions on the monthly chart on the MACD. Okay. And we've talked about a 1-2 setup required, a 1-2 setup needed. And right now, actually, Bitcoin is back testing a trend line. Okay, so we can get this on here. I'm just trying to get this on here so you can see it. Okay, so we had this trend line this is on the hourly chart, so it's not as significant. But what we have here is this trend line where you got a touchy, got some interaction, fell through, came back up, rejecting. So I know a lot of people are excited right now, but I do think, until you break above this, it kind of does look like, Bitcoin does want to, it kind of looks like Bitcoin wants to fall. It looks like Bitcoin, we have a key level of 68,743. We've had that level for a while now. It's been a key level, okay? And what we have at this point in juncture is this does look like a complete, you got like this 1-2. Okay, you have this A, B, C for your third. You come up in a fourth, and then you're coming down for a fifth. Okay, so you got 5 waves to the downside. Okay, so but this, all in honesty, this can be your A wave. That could be an A of a correction. You're coming up for a B, and then you got to come down for a C. Right? You got to come down for a C. I wouldn't mind taking out these lows at all. 62,000. I wouldn't mind taking out those lows, just because at this point there's a lot of, if we check out liquidity heat maps, there's a lot of liquidity starting to build up from 63 all the way to 64, like right in through here. A lot of liquidity, just a lot of people going long using leverage, and that kills the market. Yes, it leads to explosive rallies, but when you're chopping, when you're going sideways, right? When you're going sideways, okay. So what market makers do is they build up a ton of liquidity right through here. They build up a ton of liquidity down through here. Okay. There is a lot of liquidity right in here, but there's even more down below. So what they're doing is they're pooling it, right? So, they come up, they leave some. They leave some up here. They take some, but they leave some. Okay? They come up and then they grab it. Okay, they come down, they take some, but they leave some. They come up, people are thinking, oh, okay, we're safe. Boom, we're going to come down and grab it. And then go. And then go. Okay, and then go. And then start to move. So right now, I do think market makers are toying with both sides. I think they're giving a false sense of security, a false sense of hope, right? That, we closed the monthly, and it looks good, it looks bullish. Because it kind of does. It does look bullish. But, I wanted a little bit. I mean, there is a wick. So there's a wick to the downside. There's a wick to the downside. Now the monthly open is at roughly 68,296. Okay, let me see here. The open is 68,221. I got to change all the monthly opens. 68,221. Okay, I got to change them all. There you go. So as long as you're above the monthly open, all gravy. All gravy. We don't have, the monthly MACD. It's not something that, I'm really going to use in terms of whether or not we'll see any kind of reversal. Really looking at the 2 week and the 3 week charts. The 2 week chart starting to look pretty good. Starting to look pretty good. Still nothing in terms of price action. We're not closing above any key levels, right? We're not closing above 71 or 78,000. So still range bound. Still range bound. Still at the cusp of taking out and making new lows, right? Still very indecisive. Still very indecisive. But let me see through here. This is something that I'm really talking about. This is something that I've been talking about for a while. I do want to, clear this up a little bit. Right. This chart right in here on the 3 week. I'm really waiting on the 3 week buy order to come in through here. 3 week bullish divergence to come through here. We're getting this RSI starting to curve up like that. I would expect I'm actually going to move this. If we didn't end with a wick, I'd be more bullish, but this wick shows liquidity left behind. Yes, sir, it does. I will. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Sorry, I was just in the process of looking at. Okay, I don't really want to. So what I'm going to do is we're going to leave that on there. And I want to leave this on the 3 week. Something right there on the 3 week. So, Absurd said, if we didn't end with a wick, I'd be more bullish. But this wick shows liquidity left behind. Are you talking about the monthly? Well, so so here's the thing. So you can have a wick to the downside. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not super worried about the wick to the downside. But you are right. I do think if we're coming down to the 50 on the monthly, that's right around that level of that 65, 64 where I think a lot of liquidity is. We do. It's just the thing is. Once we start closing below, if we close a weekly below the monthly open, that starts to get dangerous, right? That starts to get very dangerous on the monthly. Yeah, so you're talking about this, right? This wick right here. That's what you're talking about. The thing is, you could say that about the upside too, right? You could say that about this wick too. Okay, you could say that about both sides. What the big thing is you had this large wick, similar to this. Similar, I mean, that's a shooting star, but you had a very large wick previously, and that sent price down, 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 down. Okay, so the idea that I do want to put up the electric cost too. Typically, price doesn't fall below the electric cost. The body is just too small to pivot, in my opinion. Okay, I got you. So you're looking for a bigger body. This is an inverted hammer. Essentially it's an inverted hammer. The body is small, but I would actually the smaller the body, it would have either way. This at the bottom of a trend is something that we need to look for and look at and be like, okay, price that with a wick this high all the way up to 75,000, that means there's a lot of liquidity up through here too. There's a lot up through there. So we have to look at it on both ways. It is a smaller candle, but realistically, we're looking for smaller candles on the bottom of a reversal, and we're looking for large wicks to the upside with continuation. So really, this month is why this month is so important is because we have this wick to the upside. If this can't be filled, then all those shorts remain. All these shorts up here remain, and they're not going to be taking profits if we open up to the monthly and we start closing down below the monthly. They're going to add to their short positions, okay? And that's just going to drive price down. All right, that's going to drive price down and start taking out more and more and more. Where are we at on the weekly? The weekly price. So this is something that's pretty interesting that I've found out, that I've been looking into. Okay, the weekly price. I do want to take out my auto fib. Since the beginning of time. No. Since Bitcoin went mainstream, right? Bitcoin went mainstream about 2016 run, it went crazy. Okay, 2016 run. So this is really that first big correction, right? Down through here is that first big correction. Energy cost, yes, it dipped. They dipped down below, pretty much touching the 200 EMA, okay, and bouncing off the 200 EMA on the weekly chart. Okay, ever since then, electricity charts, you've come into contact with the bottom range, okay, and that's pretty much marked your lows, right? Pretty much marked your lows, okay, and that's right alongside that 200 EMA, especially up through here, 200 EMA. This fell way below the 200 EMA, but it was such a parabolic run. It was such a parabolic run. I mean, this is a lot more parabolic just because it happened in such a short period of time. I mean, this thing went up in 189 days. So in 6 months, it went up. In 6 months, I'm just gonna take this after this one too. This 6 months, it went up, 500%, 500%. This run, it went up a fairly good amount from 26 all the way up to, that's 300%. But it took a very long time. It did not take 6 months. It took years. Right, it took years. It took pretty much 2 years. Right, pretty much 2 years. And so it's different. Right, it's just the sell-off needed. I think the sell-off needed to be more aggressive because the pump was way more aggressive and faster. This has been more methodical, so I don't think the sell-off, in terms of RSI, in terms of indicators, yeah, it's been more drastic. But in terms of the electricity costs, we've been down below. Okay, we're way down below. Took out way low levels, and where are we now? We're back above the 200 on the weekly, and so it's coming down to we've been talking about. We're going to talk about some stablecoin dominance. We're looking for a decision very soon, whether to the downside and take out lows and then go, or to the upside, right? And then you got to come back down. You're going to have to come back down, okay? You're going to have to do something like this, take these out, and then come back down, and then back test. So at this point, I would rather you're already down here, kind of retake these lows, establish an actual bottom, and then start to get out of here. That's what I would prefer. I would prefer that. I would prefer if A first, then B. Not B, then A, because if you come up through here and then you reject up through here, then it just looks very dangerous, very scary. Then you're going to reject very hard. You're going to run out of steam, run out of stamina. Okay, so we're down below we went down below the electricity cost. You're above the 200 on the EMA. As of right now, you still have a bunch of days. It's only Wednesday. But yeah, the wick to the downside, not too concerning in terms of whether or not, we're going to take that liquidity or not. I do think we will. I kind of hope that we will do like a quick little scoop up and then get out, so you don't leave any of that behind. But then you have conflating ideas of, in your RSI, you have this nice move up through here. You reject it and you come right back up to it. It's a very compelling idea that we're gonna move up from here, but I would rather take out the lows. Okay, so that's where we're at for Bitcoin. I would rather take out some lows. Transitioning over to Bitcoin dominance, we're gonna take this out. We'll put the auto fib back on. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. Okay, we've talked about Bitcoin dominance. This is pretty much that decision time. We've had this trend line up through here. Okay, talking about a decision through there. I know it's not technically in the pattern, but I was thinking, by the end of March, beginning of April, we'll see some type of move. What have we done now? We've come down below this 58.69 level, which is great. Okay, we could not hold below the weekly whatsoever on the 100-day EMA, on 100-week EMA, and that's still offering support. But what we have here is now, you're down back below your moving average on your RSI, which is nice. You're cupping, you're cupping, and you're looking like you might want to break out and resistance. Pardon me. But the idea that Bitcoin is gonna correct and altcoins are gonna correct as well might have this chart just go sideways. Range bound. It's not, if both are correcting and really not doing anything. I mean, it's already been going sideways for almost a year, since August. But we do have the idea that, even on the monthly chart. On the monthly chart, I just want to have it clear, concise. You're down below the 200. You're down below the 20 on the EMAs. So this is a monthly chart. So 20 months, 20-month EMA. So that's a year and a half. So once that has been established, that was established back in February of 2021. Right here. Okay, February 2021. And so, this looks like, honestly, you have this retracement where you came up through here. Bitcoin hasn't done that. You came back down, and now you're looking sad. You're looking droopy. It almost looks like the Russell, when we were talking about that before it tanked. The Russell. I'll give you a quick view of that real quick, especially like on the weekly chart. We were talking about this, how it kind of looks sad like that. Kind of looks sad, right? Kind of looks sad where you have a rounded top. It's inverse. It's inverse to what we want to see. We want to see rounded bottoms. We don't want to see rounded tops, right? You don't want to see this. You don't want to see this at the top, because then it's looking like that. Okay, this is what you want to see. I mean, it's almost identical to, it's not identical yet, but that's what you want to see at the bottom. You want to see this at the bottom because you're cupping into resistance. If you see this at the top, that's no buenos. That's no buenos. So that's why I do think Bitcoin dominance can fall through the floor. But I mentioned it yesterday, and I'll mention it again today, that you can go sideways for a whole nother month. For this month, we really could. You can come back up. Come back up, and then really reject. Really have maybe that deciding month. So, Bitcoin dominance looking like it wants to. It looks like it wants to continue its move to the downside with that confirmed close, a confirmed close down below. And since it's a relative chart, we don't need to have the same type of wicks it doesn't have to, shooting stars, this, that, and the other. It's relative to whether or not how well Bitcoin is doing to altcoins, or altcoins are doing to Bitcoin. So, what else did I want to check out before? Oh, stablecoin dominance, right? Stablecoin dominance. Been checking out stablecoin dominance for a long time here. I kind of just want to look at the. We're gonna do this. We're gonna check out this trend line, just for timing purposes. Okay, so you have that red dot. That's nice. That's a nice red dot. Right on that red dot, we started to see that downtrend. We had a red dot on the 2-week. Do we have a red dot? Not yet on the 3-week. Once we get that red dot on the 3-week, that's when we really see some good things happen to altcoins. Okay, and even Bitcoin. Right? The last, we can say the last two. Okay, so on May you had that red dot, and what happened in June and July? Altcoins did very well. We had a red dot right through here. In October, what did altcoins do in November? They did very well. Okay, so the last two was something that did very well. If we're looking at something that is apples to apples up through here, we're looking at something in 2023, right? 2023. That's kind of, it didn't move exactly like what we'd want it to. It did actually regroup. And so that's the one fear that I have right now is, this could be, you can have an A wave, and then you come back up for a B wave, and then you got to come down for a C wave. That's the one thing it's, up in the air right now, is the fact that it made such a parabolic move. It went so high that it's going to take a long time to correct. It's going to take a long time to correct. You had bearish divergence on the 3-week chart. Right? You had bearish divergence on the 3-week chart before this thing started to really move. Right? You had bearish. We don't have bearish divergence yet on the charts. So it's not as simple as, okay, we're going to get a red dot here. We're looking for price to come to move to the downside. It's more so, okay, well, we're getting a red dot. We're getting a red dot right here. Okay, how are we reacting to the 20? Right, because this thing came down, lost the 20, then got it right back. Okay, you can lose the 20. Are we going to recapture it again? That's something it's essential. It's essential. The 2-week chart, you had that red dot. And I don't think you did get bearish divergence. No, you did not. You had to close at 814, 816. Yeah, because we needed that close to be at 817. It was so close, right? I was actually hoping that this would run up and start to move. Pardon me, I just needed some coffee. Gotta energize the brain. Absurd says maybe Trump goes full crypto like he promised. BTC to offset the debt. Yeah, I think it's a tricky question, right? If Trump goes full crypto, the thing that I know I think he wants to do that. I think he wants to do that. I think he's running up against players that don't want that to happen, such as banks. I think banks right now are working against crypto. I think banks could be a big player in the shorting of crypto right now, because it's the competition, right? They're not positioned as well as they'd like to be. Okay, exchanges, obviously, because we can see that exchanges like Binance, even Coinbase. I mean, tons of exchanges they're buying up stable coins, right? They're buying up USDT. Okay, and that's to manipulate the market. There's always manipulation going on, right? There's always manipulation going on to the upside, to the downside. If Trump really is, the one thing I would ask Trump is, okay, you're a reporter and you're asking, you have the report on, just the last month, right? Last 2 months, okay? Even on the SPY. Okay. Hey Trump, you promised manufacturing to come here, and that's worked out. The ISM has exceeded 50, in which is indicative of expansion. Why has the stock market and crypto market not reflected that? You've said that the economy is strong, so why haven't crypto related stocks or products that you would like to be the front runner of, why have those performed so poorly relative to other assets, right? XLM. I got you, brother. I got you. I'm gonna get to XLM. I promise. We gotta talk about these other things, and then we'll get into XLM. I think XLM. Hey, so we're gonna pivot, right? We're gonna pivot to that because I'm actually invested in the DJT to Donald Trump Technologies, because they're invested in crypto, right? They're in Crow, they're in Bitcoin, they're in I think Chainlink, something like that. They're a very large company. They're not gonna go anywhere. It was trading up at $100 or $79. My average is right around $10. So it's this is something I'm very big on too. The reason, so maybe Trump goes full crypto like he promised. For him to go full crypto like he promised, he needs to offer exempt capital gains tax. He needs to exempt that for the first, and not like a full blown exemption forever, but for Okay, you establish the Clarity Act. From the point that that reaches his desk, have a window, the 2 years, whatever, to the end of his presidency, something where until as long as I'm president, crypto capital gains tax will be exempt, and so that'll boom the sector from speculative to application. Okay, because a lot of these like XLM, that's my segue. Cryptos like XLM, right, have some of the most bullish. It is so bullish. Okay, it is so bullish. I'm so bullish on XLM. I know people are extremely bearish on XLM, and I'm going to talk about why I'm so bullish on XLM. It's a real world asset. It is intertwined with it's already intertwined with Visa, with PayPal, with some other with some I know. So Frankel Templeton, we've heard about him, but he's the Jed Michaela, relative, being related to that, him and Elon being previously working together. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get all of the information when I bounce around so many times. It is a real world asset in the fact that it allows railways to be used, so it can be used as railways for transactions. It's one of the fastest cryptos. It is extremely cheap, inexpensive, and it is extremely reliable at this point. So XLM is already being used. It's already being used. People just don't know about it right now. And so XLM, if we're looking at, there's I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy. I do like a good conspiracy theory, because a lot of times when they do play out, you kind of start looking at other ones and you're like, okay, well, that could be possible. All right. When we're talking about XLM, XRP, when we're talking about these assets that have the ability to process payments, to be tracked, to be worldwide, right? These are starting to mold and form into the idea of a controlled system, a controlled asset. Okay, back in the day, right, during the times of Rome, okay, you couldn't buy or sell without the Caesar's coin. Okay, you couldn't do it. Okay, so it pretty much, and you'd go into Caesar, right, and you'd kneel before him and say, "Hail Caesar," right? Hail Caesar, he is king, right? And people who wouldn't do that, people who wouldn't kneel and say that, they would be, they would be killed, right? They'd be killed. They'd be exiled where they couldn't buy or sell, so they'd starve, right? They'd be almost committing suicide, right? They'd be, saying, okay, well, I'm not going to use your economy. Well, your economy is it's the entire world, right? The old Roman world was, it's incredible how much they conquered. And so now the translation now to that is, okay, well, we have a WEF, or right, a World Economic Forum, that says you will own nothing and be happy. That they want to reduce populations. They want to apply a carbon footprint onto people. They want to control the ideas of people. And to do that, right, to really control people is to control their sustenance. Well, then they got to think, okay, how do people, get those things nowadays, right? We're not farmers anymore. We're not, me particularly, I'm not, and most people aren't. But people, they rely on going to work for money to pay for those things. So they rely on a transaction. And so coming back to that, the transaction ability of XLM and XRP is so valuable to these people that run the world, right? The secret, I would say, entities, the groups of people, the sects of people that run the world behind the scenes. It's very valuable to them because first of all, they're all about making money. They're extremely greedy. So it's cheap, it's inexpensive, it's fast, and it's trackable. So XLM here, we're going to talk about XLM. And the reason why I'm so bullish on XLM because I think these people that are trying to control the world are going to use XLM, right? And so identifying that for me is key. And so that's why it's my largest holding. It's why I've continued to buy XLM. I'm not buying right now. I do think that XLM can drop, and so I'm reserving some funds for a drop to really get in there and really, my average is I'm actually up now. It's, I was down for a little bit, and I got some flack. You should have sold. You should have sold. I was like, no, I'm just gonna buy, keep averaging. I'll sell a little bit. I'll buy a little bit. So my average now is right under 17. So it's like 16.8. And that's fine with me. I can average down, I can buy more, I can just accumulate. I'm not worried about the price, right, of what my average is. I'm worried about how many coins I can have. I'm worried about how much I can have and hold on to and not sell, right? There's a percentage of XLM that I just won't sell. I don't care if it goes to $10, I'm just not going to sell it. If it goes to $100, I won't sell it. Because at some point the fiat that we use is going to be worthless. And I want a percentage of it, maybe 5% of whatever I have, my total, I'm going to hold on to and never sell it. Never sell it, because one day maybe, that 5% or 10% will be worth millions of whatever the dollar currency is, and I can, use that to get out of the world and go buy my own farm and do the things that I would like to do. Okay, so what we have here is XLM versus BTC. And so, Banano asked a question about the MACD. Look at that on the monthly. Look at that on the monthly. That's kind of, you're starting to rev up a little bit. The MACD on the monthly, okay? The reason why I'm not a huge fan of using the MACD on the monthly for looking at moves to come, Observe says, I'm not selling, to be honest, till BTC hits new all-time high and we truly get the bull run. Everything is too low anyways. Yes, it is, right? And that's that intrinsic value that you've put on something that you think is extremely valuable, and where, just like you. So none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. These are just my ideas. This is what I'm doing, right? I'm doing this. I have it. I talk about it in the Patreon membership. I talk about it on my Friday, exclusives, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not. There's certain percentages that I'll sell at a certain percentage at, but I'm not selling everything. I'll sell but I'm not gonna stay out of the market. I'll buy again, right? I'm just trying to accumulate as much as possible. So I will sell a little bit and then I'm gonna buy. I'm going to sell a little bit, and then I'm going to buy a little bit. And so I'll just keep doing that. That's how I was able to lower my average and expand my amount, right? The number of coins I've had. Okay. But for example, so the MACD, right? The MACD right here turned green. Okay. And what happened? It kept going green, green, green as the price went down, down, down. Okay. So it really didn't show that, this momentum of the MACD was really just carried because the price went extremely volatile. Okay, so it's hard to determine. Okay, well, the MACD's in deep red. Well, that means we're gonna get it can't just go from deep red to a green candle. Well, it did, and it was still red, and it was green, and this thing went up, 50%, but actually it went up more than that. In July of 2024, XLM went up, this thing went up, it's almost, I think it was over 100%. Yeah, 200%. So it was a 200% move, but the MACD really didn't show the move because it wasn't impulsive enough. It didn't last long enough, right? It didn't last long enough. And so for me, the MACD is more of it's such a lagging indicator. It's more just like a confirmation. Once the move happens, it should reflect on the MACD, and more so the stochastics for me indicate what the MACD is indicating. That's why I got the Fu Manchu. I just like it so much more. So we're waiting on a green dot. Every time we get a green dot, we get some green momentum. We're down here. We're oversold. Okay. But look at the stochastic. You're coming right down, and that thing just bounced right off of that. That is so beautiful. You're coming up right through here. You're going to make a decision. I'm telling you, April's a big decision month. We're coming into a big decision month. Big decision month. You know, we talked about Bitcoin dominance possibly being range bound for April. And so it really could. It could be range bound for April, or it could, you know, start to be range bound in the middle of April, till the middle of April, and then absolutely collapse. And that would send this RSI moving average. You could actually close and get above that. Okay. On the 3-week chart though, so the last couple of times we had a buy signal on the 3-week chart. Okay, even down on these levels. And in all honesty, okay, sorry. Okay, we have a buy signal right here on the 3-week chart. Okay, I just want to establish that we have a buy signal on the 3-week chart, and you're coming to a point where, okay, the next signal, the next candle will be towards the end of April. And so that's kind of that's with stablecoin dominance. I didn't really look at, got into the time frame of stablecoin dominance, but the pattern of stablecoin dominance is going to end around the 10th to the 15th of April. Okay, and that's a little bit before this, but it doesn't have to be exact. Timing is the most difficult. It's strenuous. People, they try to be so correct on time. I'm trying to get the move right. I'm expecting a move to happen, and I'm positioning for a move. And what we have here on the 3-week chart is a beautiful, what this is looking like, just a rounded bottom. This is exactly what you want to see. And so Banano, this is what I'm talking about, is it's not going to just go straight up like this. I don't believe so. Right now. I do believe you're going to need to come up, all right? Come up, set up a 1, oscillate down in a 2, okay? Something like this. Okay, so something like this, have like a 1, come back down, oscillate down in a 2, and then you can start a move. And then you can start an actual move. I just think it looks so constructive, and when we go look at actual price, that's kind of what's going on with the actual price. Okay, so we got Bitcoin XLM versus BTC, green dot, looking good, looking bullish, with the RSI looking strong. Okay, so if we actually go to XLM on the charts, we're waiting on a 3-week buy order. The last couple times this happened, this thing started to go crazy. Did it go straight up? No, it didn't. Right? It ran up. Right? Ran up. And then came back down. Okay. And even from the lows, I would expect something almost similar to this right here. We can use a bars pattern. Something like this. Doesn't have to be as long. Something like this. Just like that right there. That's kind of what I would expect for XLM. XLM, maybe you come up to this previous area of resistance. I do have it marked, right? I do have it marked. This 30 cents. I have it marked. I just have all the other stuff turned off. Maybe you come up to a previous area of resistance. Right? Previous area of support, previous area of resistance, previous area of resistance. That would make sense to me. And then what do? Then you come back down, right? So you come up, and what do? You came back down. And so for me personally, when it comes up to a key level, to a key resistance level, above my entry level, I'm going to take some off the table. I'll take some off the table. Why not? If it goes up, it's okay. I'm not selling my entire position. But even if it doesn't come down and take out lows, even if it doesn't come down and it break my entry level, even if it comes down to 20 cents, if I sell 10%, right? If I sell, let's say I have 100,000 and I sell 10%, okay? So at 30 cents, that's $3,000, right? That's $3,000, okay? And so what I can do with that $3,000 is buy it at 20 cents. Okay, so 3,000. What would that be? 3,000 divided by 0.20. So then I can buy 15,000. So I can add on another 5,000 XLM in that situation. So something like that. So that's kind of how I operate. It's not exactly the levels. It's not exactly the percentages, but that's just an example of how you can use, key levels to your advantage, right? And that's the big thing about, what I post on the chart updates through the Patreon is, key levels. So you don't have to wait. You don't have to, because it will adjust. It will move. The key levels that I have, they'll move a little bit based on the move. They'll move. Upside targets will move a little bit. Downside targets will move a little bit. Everything's kind of shifty. Nothing is nothing is set in stone, but there is some key levels that you can pinpoint and see, hey, if it comes up here, I'm going to take some off the table. And so that's kind of what I would expect, and that's kind of what I got at to you, Banano, is I don't expect a straight move up. I expect a setup. I would want to set up something like this, kind of flag out a little bit, and then once you break that out again, then that's the real move. That's the move that you want to be in, right? So, we talked about, if we put this in log scale, right? A lot of people have this in log, and you come up through here, and this chart, this pattern right through here, where okay, you need to come down to 12 to 13 cents. You could possibly come down through here and do it right now. Do it right now, and then you go up, and then you go up. Okay, so right now what we got is a 1-2. Okay, you flagged out. Boom, you have an A, B, C for your third wave. So you have a 1, you have a 2, you have a 3, you have a fourth wave move, this entire move, right? You have a fourth wave move. You have an A, B, C, D, E, okay? And this last move, you have 3 waves up, and you have 3 waves back down. Beautiful setup. So what do you need now? You need 5 waves up. You need 5 waves up off the low. 5 waves. You need like a 1, 2, A, B, C. Fourth wave move back down, possibly, and then a 5th move. Something like that. That would, to me, would look so beautiful, right? You have like this 1, 2. You have an A, come down, B, back test, go up and get your C for your third wave. The third wave of the 5th wave, something like this. You gotta have something like that, okay? And then you flag out, come down, all right? Like you flagged out right here, came down, and then you go up and get the last one. Then you go up and get your last one, okay? And that's best case scenario, base case scenario, and guess what I'm gonna be doing at this level? I'm gonna be taking profits. I'm gonna be taking profits. Because in the event that, you come down, you come up through here in 3 waves, and then you got to flag out, right? You got to flag out, and you come back down like this. Then I can buy more. It's not I'm taking it out and I'm done. I'm worried. I'm scared. I'm not investing. I'm investing in crypto and crypto affiliated stocks and silver once it hits my key level. Okay, once silver hits my key level. These levels that XLM can have up through here are incredible. Incredible. I mean, incredible. Some of these levels are just not going to happen. $1 million. Maybe if our currency becomes like a Zimbabwe currency, where you got, a dollar's, it's like $4 billion for a coin. I don't know. I'm just I'm making light of the situation. I don't think the reason why I'm kind of laughing is because there'll be. Oh, sorry, that's 1,000. I thought that was 1 million. It's the 600,000 up here, because there'll be someone once the bull market starts. I can guarantee you, there's gonna be someone that does this. They hear about this. They hear about it. They just started they're a content creator, and they put something out, and they'd be like, XLM to $1,000, hold this much and you'll be rich, right? There's gonna be, you've seen it before, right? When the moves start, and then all of these people start calling our XRP to 10,000. Bitcoin is going to 1 million. There's reasons for those people. There's a special place in somewhere down below earth for those people, okay? But 242, I mentioned this last time, right? 242, right? This 618 up to the 786. That would be an ideal spot, right? I'd be happy with that spot. Come back down, and maybe you come up to, $18 would be, just extremely high numbers, extremely valuable, but that would be years. I think that would be years, right? This is a monthly chart. This has taken years to do. And so to just hold on for your dear life when you're up, hundreds of percentages, I think you could, for me personally, I think, I am going to take some off the table, and that's just my philosophy. And then I'll find other places to park my money, and then get it on the next correction. Okay. What about gold and silver? Right, gold. We talked about gold for a while. I do want to throw this on the weekly chart. I want to get rid of this stuff, and then I want to get this on here. No, it's on the daily. Here we go. Okay, gold, and it's not on log. We got to take this off log because this is important, right? This is important. I think the liquidity for the markets are right here in front of us. People keep saying there's no liquidity. Where's all the liquidity going to come from? We need more money. There's no money. There's no money. I talked about it. Gold and silver. Gold is the number one in the entire world for market cap. Silver is like number 4 or whatever. Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. Okay. So what we got going on is you almost have you got like this 1, 2, and you got this third wave coming up. And we've talked about this 49, 41 level. I talked about it for a while. This does look good. I will say this does look good. This is kind of what I'm expecting crypto to do. This is what I'm expecting crypto to do. But crypto is already, it's already been, like, crypto is down here and doing this. You know what I mean? Gold's in a different situation where gold really hasn't completed its full correction. I think you got 3 waves right here. I think you're going to get 3 waves up, and then you need 3 waves back down, and then your correction is good, and then you can keep going, because I think gold and silver is still going to go up. But this right through here, I do believe that this is going to come up to this 49 level, 49, 41 level, and then start correcting some more. Okay, but the visual representation is good. I think for what we've been talking about is, right, you're at this, you have this, this neckline right here, and you're going to cup into. For all intents and purposes, it could flag out in here and then go up. It really could. Right? There's not this will happen. These are some possibilities of what's going to happen, or what I think is going to happen. That would be a bullish scenario, but this looks very bullish. That looks very bullish. Something like that looks very bullish. And that's what we're looking for in crypto. That's what we want to see in crypto. Snapchat is doing great. I entered Snapchat down through here. What's it? What is my entry? 394. 394. It's a nice entry. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go. First take profit level. That's a nice, beautiful, beautiful. Traditional stocks for me are just so much. I don't know. There's something about it. I'm just, crypto is great. I think crypto is going to do some good stuff. But traditional stocks for me is I just have so much more success. With moves like that, just instant moves. Silver has broken out of the sell side wall. You had 1, you had 2, you had 3 rejections on the 4th go. Okay, and we've mapped out $92. We've had $92 out there for a while. Could it come back up to 92 and then see its final correction and come back down through there? I do believe so. I don't think silver and gold are done correcting quite yet. I just don't think so. I don't think so at all. I'll go ABT. We talked about ABT. We talked about ABT yesterday, and this is the importance of taking profits, right? I was talking about, taking some off the table at this first take profit level is not a bad idea. And this is the reason for that. It's the reason for that. You know, you're down 20%, but really from those highs, you're down even more. You got to be down even more. Down 24%. Down a quarter of whatever that was worth now. So you could still be up overall, but still, it's taking some off the table is great. Ooh, look at React. Taco is happy. Taco is happy. We talked about React in the Patreon. That signal fired right back through here. Boom, boom. Going crazy, doing good things. React looks good. Happy for Taco. TARS AI is something I'm looking to get into possibly. We'll see. Let's look at XRP. Let's look at XRP. So XRP, actually, I kind of want to look at XRP BTC first, and then, I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You guys can drop any additional tickers if you'd like. Just gotta get some of that cafecito in me. XRP here. This thing looks beautiful, and I'm not even an XRP holder. Gosh, dang! Look at this. And people are bearish. People are bearish. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe I sound... I don't want to sound like a permabull. I don't want to sound like someone who's naive to downside pressure, but this is just... This is ridiculous how you can have such a beautiful chart pattern on such a big asset that is proven to be used in the world, that is going to be used in the world. EGLD, I got you. Is that a crypto absurd? If that's a crypto, I'll either way I'll look into it. You're right on the border of this fair value gap and this slightly overextended gap. And what do the cookies have in? Look at that, the end of April. End of April. So XLM and XRP. Oh, XLM's a little bit different. XLM's a little bit different, but still. It's pretty close, right? Pretty close, pretty close, pretty close. I mean, once you get down to here, it's not... You're going to make a move before then. All right, you're going to make a move before then. Okay, I got you, brother. Just give me a minute. I'm going to talk about XRP, and then I'll get to that. This is just absolutely gorgeous. You do have a red dot. You have a red dot, which is fine. It's just fine. You're just correcting. You're consolidating. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's really not. The fact that I like, this, the one thing I do like about the MACD is I like just looking at time frame of how long something's been red. And this has been red for 27 bars. This, I think I did this previously. This was red for 33 bars. So really another 6 bars. All right. Was the longest. Okay, so another would be what? I'll just add one. There you go. Right at the end of it. Right at the end of it. And now tie this for the longest. I'll tie this for the longest. And what'd you do? You ran up. You had a 1-2. All right, you had this 1-2 setup. But as of right now, oh, shoot. This looks very... 2-week is ready. That 2-week is ready to drop. This 2-week is ready to drop an overbought, to drop a buy signal for sure. This one is, that one for sure is. This looks longer actually on the 2-week chart. I'm a knucklehead. I can't see that. All right, 19 bars. That's a long time. 23 bars. This is longer. This is longer than this. This right through here is longer than that. Yeah, this, I just want to take an extension. Where'd this get to? Wow. Beautiful. I mean, beautiful. You have a 1-2. A, B, C, 3, 4. Got to come up and get 5. You got to get one more. You got to get one more. That's beautiful. Yeah, so you have like this A, B, C for a 4th, almost like it's like a flat type pattern. I mean, this just looks a diagonal pattern. That just looks beautiful. That looks so nice. Gosh, dang it. So sorry, I get weird sometimes. I look at charts, and some charts just look great. This chart looks great. So if we're taking this, we're taking this, we're taking these. We're not gonna take the freaking. We're not gonna take the scam wick. Hell no. 1618 all the way up to the 2618 is a complete move. 1618 all the way up to 2618, and Bitcoin can still rise 200% all the way up to 337% based on what Bitcoin is right now. And if Bitcoin rises, this is gonna irrelevant. It's gonna go crazy. So this is strong. This is a strong looking chart right now. XRP looks can we get some more downside? Sure, of course, but not worried about the downside. Get out of here. Not worried about that right now. I do want to check this out on the weekly, monthly. Do I have the monthly open on this thing? I do. It's a rough estimate. Yeah, until you break 153, to the downside pressure it's there. It's obvious. So you got 111. I need to put this on the monthly. All right, so you got this right here. Bada bing. Okay. So, you're right above the monthly open. I wouldn't mind taking out some lows and then going. You closed right on the 50. Right on the 50. This is and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, March closed red for XRP. That's different. XLM closed green. All right, XLM closed green. March closed. XRP closed red. That's what I'm saying. XLM does look stronger. XLM does look stronger. XRP closing right on the 50. Can you come up to this $2 range? All right, and then flag out. Of course you can. And what is that from where we're at right now? It's probably like a 60% move, something like that. 50% move. Okay, still a nice move. Still a nice move. No buy signal obviously, but you're getting that momentum down to the downside now. So that's, once we start to see that, it's been oversold. It's oversold. So, this thing is so oversold. This thing is extremely oversold. So I'm looking for a green dot on that 3 week. You got that 2 week buy signal. That 1 week buy signal. XRP, until we get, like I said, until you break really above 153, these higher prices are not. It's not even, you need to break above it, hold it, and then we can start talking about some higher levels. Okay, if we don't, and you need 5 waves up too. You need 5 waves up. So maybe you come up to this, even this 275. All right, come up in this 275 range. This nice cupping pattern. Flag out and then go. What about the daily? This chart pattern on the daily though is kind of like ugh. You're coming down now in what is this, like a 3-way move down? So the XLM BTC chart. So I got you. So XLM BTC, XRP BTC, and maybe the triangle will break to the upside without XLM's price going up. I don't really understand the usefulness of it. So this chart is a representation of the strength of XLM versus Bitcoin. Okay, so we want this chart to break out because that means XLM is doing well versus Bitcoin. Okay, the ideal situation is we want this chart to be doing well when Bitcoin is doing well. Okay, so that's the key understanding of it is, when Bitcoin does poorly, typically altcoins don't just go crazy. Bitcoin could be in a retracement. Right, Bitcoin could be in a retracement. Something like this, 2021, right through here. Where is it? April 2021, even up through here from August 2021, doing something like this. That is still a nice move, but it's not the full length of the move. where Bitcoin is doing well, other coins are doing well. We want Bitcoin to be going up and to the right. And so what that shows that us is that that's not XRP, XLM. So this chart, every time it's green and Bitcoin is doing well, right? So we marked this out, the last couple times that this had a green buy order. Okay, this was in May. Sorry, this was in June, and that's when XLM was doing fairly well versus Bitcoin. So yeah, no worries. XLM was doing better. It returned higher return on investment. So when this chart is green, XLM is returning a higher return. It's providing a higher return on investment. When this chart is red, it's losing more on your per dollar investment. That's kind of the way to look at it is. So when this is going down like this, it's better to be invested in Bitcoin. Okay, when it's going green, when this is green, it's better to be invested in XLM. That's kind of the essential idea behind that. Okay, so green, better to be invested. Red, better to be invested in Bitcoin. Okay, so we talked about XRP, talked about XLM. Let's look at EGLD. Binance. USD. Capital.com maybe? Maybe I can use capital.com. I'm going to use this one. Let's check it out. Check it out. All right. Let's see it. Whoa, that's an interesting chart. It's a very interesting chart. Ooh, wow. Look at all those divergences. Okay. Do you have the market cap on this absurd by any chance? A new coin. That's nice. Man, this is a long accumulation. Hey, I guess, remember, bull market already happened, guys. This was your bull market. Just take it and shut up. This is your bull market. All right. That's your bull market. It's your bull market. That's crazy. People think that the bull market already happened. That's crazy. I don't know. I can't see it. I can't fathom. Wow, this is looking really leaky. This is a very similar version of Jasmy. This is very similar to Jasmy. This might be a gem right here. This could be a real gem. I got to change the monthly open for a little bit more pronounced. M. Right? And then you got real leaky. Right? Leaky where you're kind of going down, but you're not really doing anything. You're kind of just going down slowly, and then you break that neckline. You break this out, and then you start to freaking go parabolic. Yeah, this looks very interesting. That's why I'm so bullish on Jasmy too. Jasmy looks. It's a bigger. This right here is a bigger version of this, and this led to this. So this right here, I'm hoping. I mean, you can really see that. You can see it. It almost is. You got this M. Sorry, I get sidetracked. You got this M. Right, something like that. That's a good look. I like those looks. Where you just kind of just get leaky at the very end of it. 114 million. Yeah, this thing can go crazy. A little bit more pronounced on Jasmy. All right, a little bit more pronounced. Okay. I almost want to use a different maybe we could almost want to use something differento. Yeah, this thing looks. Oh man, this is very interesting chart. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm interested in this chart. I like this chart. I would like to. I could. I mean, I might possibly throw some on here. I just don't know if I can get into that exchange. Yeah, I could tell it's hot back in 2021. You've already taken out lows too, so there's no sense of it going much lower. Right? There's no sense of it going much lower. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, we are going to be very interested in this chart. Wow. This is just like a smaller version of Jasmine, in my opinion. Smart contracts execution platform is reportedly capable of up to 100,000 transactions per second, 6-second latency, and wow, that's super. That's extremely well. Any major partners or just more of a speculative right now? Like smart contracts, like who's it? Um, okay, okay, so it's going to be difficult to get any sort of, fib levels that are anywhere close, right? I mean, you can be like, oh, you can pull this fib, like the most obvious fib, and you can do stuff like this, but yeah, it's not going to do anything. So we got to get in depth. We can't just be lazy with it, right? We can't be lazy with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this fib from this high to this low. Can't be lazy with it. We got to find some key levels. They're not just given. They're not a given. No, no, no. Wow, look at that. Sometimes, sometimes I have to mess around with fibs and different key levels and looking at stuff for a while. I'm not even joking. I really do. But this one is perfect. Look at this fib I pulled. This is perfect. Look at that. Gosh, sometimes, man, sometimes this is gonna be green because 50 from $3 to $55. I don't care who it is. That's a good return on investment. All right, that's a good return on investment. And $42 from here. And realistically, I want to see where this last, these 3 levels up through here. Right there. Yeah, 71. Yeah, $3 to $71. Yeah, that's. Check this for partners. I got you. What do you mean check this for partners? Check this for like check it out, like look into it for who it's partnered with. I can do that. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Okay. Kind of want to invert this. That's just a big one too. That's a big one too. That's really impulsive, but it's a $100 million asset. If we're really thinking about it, it really could be like this could be a 1-2. I kind of don't want to use that wick. It is the lower wick. Okay, we're going to mess around with this for sure. We're going to mess around with this one for sure. 1272. We can check this out. We can see what we got to break it down, right? We got to look into it. We can't just. That's about as as good as that one's gonna get. See, the thing is with this, I mean, it didn't close lower, so I kind of want to use the candle. I kind of want to use this low, if I'm being honest. I do. I want to use this candle right here because this didn't close lower. It already established the low. This isn't the low of that correction. All right, that was just like this is pretty much like a liquidity grab. Okay, it's not really a low from the correction. This correction looks like it's like a 1, 2, 3 correction right there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. We'll use that. We'll do 539. Perfecto. Okay, appreciate it, brother. I'll look into it. I might look to invest into this thing. I might actually do it because it looks like Jasmine. If I'm invested in something like Jasmine, I'd like to be invested in something like this. Look at that. Without even checking it, I did not look. It's right at the 100. It's pretty much right at the 20 on the weekly. This up through here is, I mean, it's right in between. But these two is are big. So what we got now is, I know there's a big gap, $5 to $21. That's not going to suffice. I don't like that. Okay, so we do have this. It does look like a 1, 2. You almost have like an A, B. I mean, 1, 2. You have like an A, B, C, 3. You have like a 4th wave move. You have a 5th wave move. In your 5th wave move, you have 1, 2. Maybe you have your 3, your 4th, and like your 5th coming down. Interesting. Let me see this. Yeah, that looks interesting. Right through here. Right here. There's 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. Look at that. That's another fib from a different time frame. This is on the weekly too. We're getting close, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting close. This is how the process works on Crypto Vision. If you're interested, I do this for all the assets that you're looking for, right? And update it. Okay. And it helps me out, right? It helps me out a ton. That looks good right there. Da, 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 da. Okay, we're gonna do that. That's perfect. Retracement level. Bada bing, bada boom. Wow. That 382 ain't gonna work, but that is a big level. 15 is a big level. Very large level. Very large level. Okay, we're working it. We're working it. We're figuring it out. I do think there's going to be a big level around this 50, but I haven't found anything quite yet. Right there. That's right above the 50. Kind of want to see if anything. And then you reject it right there. Yeah, I like that. That'll work. Cool. All right, and that's what I do for my levels. That's how I get my levels, things like that. Bullish divergence up through here on the RSI. Yeah, I think this thing is getting ready to go crazy. Things like this look good. So yeah, I do like this. So that's what I got for that. That'll be updated. Wow, look at Ethereum go. Right at this key level. I mean, what'd you get up to? 21.67, 21.79. So is that $13 off? Very nice 2-week chart. Green dot on the 2-week chart. Last time we had that, it was good. Over here, it was good. The last two over here, it was good. Over here, it was good. Over here, not so good. Over here, good. So, Ethereum's putting in a signal that indicates of, upside action, Jackson. So, that's something I'm very interested in. I do think Ethereum's going to go to some crazy prices. I do think so. Let's get rid of some of this jargon. Let's get rid of some of this. Wow. Wowzers. Oh, this is a key. This is that key area right here on this RSI. Right there. There we go. Wait, 2 weeks. Sorry. There we go. I'm gonna be watching this for sure. It breaks above this. That's a great looking sign for Ethereum. Okay, that's kind of what I got for today. Covered a lot of stuff today. I'm gonna be dropping a video on Jasmine tomorrow. Probably do a Jasmine degen video tomorrow. Friday, gonna be doing that exclusive video, so I won't be around on Friday, but I'll be updating. The Patreon membership on any kind of key charts like this. I'm gonna actually introduce them. I'm gonna do a screenshot of the thanks for the chart of the EGLD. I do like that. I like that chart a lot. I do. So that's something I'm gonna be watching to possibly get into. Appreciate you stopping by. Thanks, Absurd. Appreciate your time. Everyone else, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your support. I'll be live again on Monday. I'll be dropping some videos tomorrow. If you're interested in the free Discord, it'll be linked in the description. Offer a paid Patreon membership with key charts. There's so many more other charts that are showing more bullishness and things like that. So look at React. Look at that thing go. As always, I thank you for your time. I thank you for stopping by. You have a great rest of your day. Take it easy. Peace.